World War II, one of the darkest chapters in human history, continues to surprise us even today. From hidden treasures to haunting artifacts, the world is still uncovering secrets. But what hidden gems of the past have been uncovered? And how will these discoveries change our understanding of the war? Join us as we delve into 20 incredible stories. Number 20. The Lost Giant Battleship Musashi. In the vast Pacific Ocean, there once sailed a mighty warship named Musashi. Built in 1942, it was one of Japan's strongest battleships, part of the famous Yamato class. Musashi was armed with 9 huge guns, each over 18 inches wide, making it seem almost unbeatable. People believed no force could conquer this giant ship. But everything changed in October 1944 during the Battle of Leyte Gulf. Suddenly, the sky filled with American planes. They attacked Musashi again and again, dropping bombs and firing torpedoes. After a long, fierce battle, the brave Musashi could no longer fight. The ship sank deep into the Sibuyan Sea, taking nearly 1,000 sailors with it. For over 70 years, no one knew exactly where Musashi had gone. Then, in 2015, Paul Allen, one of Microsoft's founders, sent a team to explore the ocean floor. Using old maps and modern sonar tools, they found the broken ship more than 3,000 feet below the surface. When people saw the footage of the sunken Musashi, emotions ran high around the world. The ship told a quiet but powerful story of war, courage, and loss. It reminded everyone of the great naval battles and the many lives deeply touched by this history. But this is only the beginning of these war artifacts. Let's find out more. Number 19. Belle P-39. Airacobra. In the quiet, icy lands of Russia's Murmansk region, World War II stories sleep beneath frozen lakes and thick forests. This peaceful place hides the remains of old airplanes, waiting patiently to be found again after many years. One such story is about Ivan Baranovsky, a brave Soviet pilot. In November 1944, Ivan flew a Bell P-39 Airacobra, a fighter plane sent by the United States to help the Soviet Union during the war. One day, Ivan made a mysterious choice to land his plane on the frozen Mart Yavor Lake and then vanished without a trace. For a long time, no one knew what happened to him. Then, in July 2004, a fisherman noticed a piece of the plane's tail sticking out of the water. Carefully, the plane was pulled from the lake, and surprisingly, it was still in great shape. Inside the cockpit, Ivan's body was found, along with his old maintenance logbook. He was given a respectful resting place at Murmansk's Alley of Glory, a special site honoring brave heroes. The plane traveled far from the frozen lake. First to England for careful restoration, then to the Niagara Aerospace Museum in Buffalo, New York. This historic plane was saved from the icy wilderness, telling a quiet, sweet story of courage and time. Number 18. The Bismarck Beneath the Atlantic. Far below the cold and restless waves of the North Atlantic rests the Bismarck, a mighty German battleship from World War II. Built in 1939 and named after Otto von Bismarck, this huge ship was made to protect Germany's waters and fight the Allied forces. With thick armor and powerful weapons, the Bismarck was like a floating fortress ready for battle. In May 1941, the Bismarck faced a fierce fight with British ships. It sank the famous British ship HMS Hood, shocking the world. But soon after, British planes damaged Bismarck's steering, making it hard for the ship to escape. British warships surrounded it and launched many attacks. On May 27, 1941, the mighty Bismarck sank deep into the ocean, taking over 2,000 sailors with it. Only 114 survived this tragic day. For many years, no one knew where the Bismarck lay hidden. Then, in 1989, explorer Robert Ballard, who found the Titanic, discovered the sunken ship nearly 15,000 feet underwater. The Bismarck was mostly whole, stirring the imagination of people all over the world. Today, it rests quietly on the ocean floor, a powerful reminder of war, bravery, and secrets lost beneath the sea. Number 17. Ireland's Neutrality Signs. During World War II, Ireland chose to stay neutral, hoping to avoid the dangers of the Great War. But even with this choice, planes often flew over Irish skies, sometimes lost, or dropping bombs by accident. To help these pilots, Ireland came up with a clever idea. Along the coast, huge stone letters were built, spelling out Éire, which means Ireland in Gaelic. Each letter was as wide as 40 feet and painted bright white so pilots could easily see them from the sky. These giant signs quietly told pilots from both sides that they were flying over a neutral country and should be careful. In 2018, after a wildfire swept through part of Wicklow County, one of these old signs was found again. Hidden for years under thick bushes, rescue teams spotted it from the air. Scientists confirmed it was part of a network of lookout points watched closely during the war. While some of these stone letters have vanished, many still rest quietly on the hills, standing as simple reminders of a small nation's brave spirit during a time of great danger. These stones tell a gentle story of courage and hope when the world was at war. Some of these discoveries were found in our time, unharmed, and haven't been tampered with. No rust or spoils. They lay as their owners left them. Stick with us. Number 16. The Hidden Nazi Wall Stash. Sometimes history hides in the most unexpected places. In 2021, after a flood in Hagen, Germany, a homeowner fixing their house found a secret space behind a wall. Inside this small hidden spot were many objects from World War II. There were gas masks, Nazi badges, a revolver, brass knuckles, old papers, and a newspaper from 1945. Among these items was a faded portrait of Adolf Hitler, giving a glimpse into the person who hid these things long ago. It turned out the house once belonged to a group connected to the National Socialist People's Welfare Organization. As the war was coming to an end, people quietly hid their treasured items, hoping to keep them safe from the arriving Allied soldiers. Though other hidden collections have been found before, finding one so well preserved is very rare. Local historians became very interested, eager to learn more about the story behind these treasures. To protect privacy and avoid too much attention, officials shared only a little information. Still, news of this amazing discovery spread quickly, reminding us that history often waits quietly, hidden inside places we might never expect. Number 15. The Tank Beneath the House. In 2015, something incredible happened in the small German town of Heikendorf. Beneath an old man's house, hidden away from view, was a real Panther tank from World War II. Alongside it, there was an old anti-aircraft gun and even a surprise, a torpedo. People in town had heard stories of strange things buried nearby, but no one ever imagined a huge tank was waiting underground. Getting the tank out was not easy. Soldiers spent nearly 9 hours carefully lifting the 45-ton machine from the basement. Years ago, its tracks had been removed so it could fit through the door. When the tank finally saw daylight again, the whole town was amazed. They couldn't believe such a powerful piece of history had been quietly resting below their feet. The owners soon faced legal trouble because keeping such dangerous weapons at home broke strict German laws. Still, experts were excited about the tank's perfect condition and hoped it could soon be shown in a museum for everyone to see. This strange discovery reminds us that history sometimes hides in the most surprising places, not just on battlefields, but right beneath our own homes. Number 14. Submarines beneath the Atlantic. During World War II, Allied ships crossing the vast Atlantic Ocean faced a hidden danger: German U-boats. These submarines silently prowled the deep waters, either attacking groups of ships or hunting alone. Armed with powerful torpedoes, their goal was to stop supplies from reaching Europe's battlefields. The Allies fought back with new technology like sonar, radar, and constant air patrols to spot these underwater threats. Still, the battle between ships and submarines was fierce and went on until the war ended. Many U-boats were destroyed by depth charges, bombs, or accidents, sinking to the ocean floor with their crews. For many years, these watery graves stayed lost and forgotten beneath the waves. But now, more ocean explorers are finding these sunken vessels. One special discovery was the German submarine U-576, found in 2016 off the U.S. East Coast. It rests upright on the seafloor, with its deck guns still facing forward, as if ready for battle. experts use underwater drones to carefully capture photos of these haunting places, revealing rusted parts and old artifacts. Each shipwreck tells its own story of bravery and danger, reminding us of the fierce struggles hidden beneath the ocean's surface. During the war, animals were used too. What were they used for? Let's find out. Number 13. The secret pigeon in the chimney. In a quiet English village, a simple home project turned into an amazing discovery. While cleaning out an old fireplace, the homeowner found a tiny, well-preserved pigeon. What made this find extra special was a small red container still tied to the bird's leg, holding a message written long ago. During World War II, carrier pigeons were brave messengers. They carried important notes through dangerous places where radios could be too risky to use. Historians believe this little pigeon was part of a secret mission, sending messages from enemy lands back to Britain. Sadly, it seems the bird got lost, flew into the chimney, and never escaped. Years later, experts carefully took out the fragile message and sent it to Bletchley Park, the famous place where codebreakers worked during the war. The meaning of the note is still a mystery, because the code has not been cracked. This tiny bird reminds us that animals played big roles in history. Its story is a sweet and unique treasure from World War II, showing that heroes can come in the smallest, most surprising forms. Number 12. Warbirds of Lake Michigan. The Douglas SBD Dauntless was a trusted dive bomber used by the U.S. Navy in World War II. It was famous for its accurate attacks on enemy ships and played a big role in important battles like Midway. But not all Dauntless planes flew into battle. Some met a very different fate closer to home. In the 1940s, Navy pilots practiced landing on aircraft carriers right on Lake Michigan. Steamboats were changed into floating landing decks on the calm lake waters. Here, trainee pilots worked hard to learn tricky takeoffs and landings. Sometimes things went wrong. Planes didn't always land safely, and sometimes slipped off the deck, falling into the cold lake below. For many years, these lost planes lay hidden at the bottom of the lake, forgotten and untouched. A few divers and history lovers kept track of them quietly. Recently, teams have begun recovering these old, dauntless planes. One was pulled up from 100 feet underwater, still mostly whole, but covered in little mussels. Now, careful experts are fixing these planes in museums. Each plane tells a special story of young pilots learning, making mistakes, and getting ready for the fierce battles in the sky. It's a gentle reminder of courage, practice, and the hidden stories beneath the waves. Some plans were set in motion but didn't work out, so they were locked up. Let's expose these plans. Number 11. Operation Bernhard's Counterfeit Millions. As World War II was coming to an end, Nazi Germany created a secret plan to hurt Britain's economy. This plan, called Operation Bernhard, aimed to flood Britain with fake British pound notes. To make this happen, skilled counterfeiters, many of them prisoners from concentration camps, were forced to create perfect copies of British money. It is believed that over £130 million worth of fake bills were made. This huge amount could have caused great trouble if it had been used. But as the Allied forces got closer, the Nazis hurried to hide their crime. They threw crates full of the fake money into deep lakes in Austria, like Lake Toplitz, hoping no one would find them. Years later, curious divers and treasure hunters started finding wet bundles of these notes resting on the lake's bottom. Each find showed how serious and clever this secret plan was. Experts studying the fake bills were amazed by how much they looked like real money. Operation Bernhard remains one of history's boldest attempts to disrupt a country's economy. Every note found at the lake tells a quiet story of a secret mission during a time of war. Number 10. The Bronze Eagle from the Graf Spee. In 1939, during the early days of World War II, the German warship Admiral Graf Spee faced fierce battle near the Rio de la Plata. Trapped by British forces, Captain Hans Langsdorff chose to sink his own ship rather than let it fall into enemy hands. For many years, the wreck lay quietly beneath the dark waters near Uruguay. Then, in 2006, divers made a surprising discovery. a huge bronze eagle that once stood at the ship's rear. This eagle was more than 6 feet tall and held a swastika in its claws, symbolizing the power of Nazi Germany. Pulling this heavy statue from the depths was no easy task, as the team fought strong currents and low visibility. Once the eagle was brought up, people debated what to do with it. Should it be shown in museums, destroyed, or changed into something new? After much thought, they decided to melt the eagle down and reshape it into a symbol of peace. This remarkable discovery reminds us how pieces of the past can surface when least expected. The bronze eagle is not just a relic, it invites us to reflect on history and how we choose to heal and move forward after difficult times. Number 9. The brave USS Yorktown. The USS Yorktown was a famous aircraft carrier for the United States Navy during World War II. It showed great bravery in many important battles across the Pacific Ocean. In May 1942, during the Battle of the Coral Sea, the Yorktown was damaged but quickly repaired so it could return to fight. Soon after, the Yorktown played a big part in the Battle of Midway, helping American planes deliver a strong blow to the Japanese Navy. During a fierce battle, the Yorktown was hit by many torpedoes from enemy planes and submarines. On June 7, 1942, the ship slowly sank beneath the waves, disappearing from sight. Although losing the Yorktown was sad, the victory at Midway helped change the war in America's favor. For many years, the exact resting place of the Yorktown was a mystery. Then, in 1998, explorer Robert Ballard found the sunken ship. He took amazing pictures showing parts of the ship, its hull, flight deck, and guns, all still in place. Among the wreck were personal items like mugs and airplane parts, left untouched by time. Today, the Yorktown lies peacefully at the bottom of the ocean, like a quiet museum. It tells a powerful story of courage and change in the history of the sea. The war has claimed the lives of many. On one occasion, they were excavated. What events led to this? Let's find out. Number 8. The Silent Graves of Katyn. In the spring of 1940, many Polish officers, teachers, and important people disappeared while held by the Soviet Union. No one knew what happened until 1943, when German soldiers found mass graves in the Katyn forest near Smolensk. Over 20,000 bodies were dug up, all showing signs they had been gunned down. The Nazis used this discovery to blame the Soviets, but the truth was hidden behind politics and lies. After the war ended, the Soviet Union denied any guilt and said the Nazis were responsible. It was only many years later, when secret Soviet papers were revealed, that the real story came out. The mass assassinations were ordered by Stalin's secret police, the NKVD. This shocking truth was a painful wake-up call for Poland, showing just how much they had lost. So many smart and important people in their country had been taken away forever. Later investigations helped identify many victims, giving some comfort to families who had waited for answers for a long time. The graves in Katyn are now a quiet, powerful reminder of the huge and heartbreaking cost of World War II. They honor the lives lost and the deep pain war leaves behind. Number 7. The Silver of the SS Garapa. In 1941, the SS Garapa, a British ship, left India for Britain carrying simple things like tea and iron, but it also secretly held a large load of silver. Near the coast of Ireland, a German submarine fired a torpedo at the ship. It sank quickly, taking its precious cargo down to the freezing ocean floor, nearly 3 miles deep. For many years, no one knew exactly where the ship and its treasure had gone. Then in 2011, a team of American researchers used special underwater robots to find it. The cameras showed shining silver bars mixed with rusty metal and sea creatures. Divers carefully brought up more than 1,100 silver bars, weighing about 48 tons. They were worth millions of dollars. Even after so many years underwater, much of the silver was still in good shape. This amazing discovery reminded people that even ordinary ships during wartime carried valuable things. The team that found it was rewarded not just with money, but also with the thrill of uncovering hidden history. Now, this treasure is part of a rare collection of World War II artifacts, a shining story of loss, mystery, and a glittering surprise from the deep. Some surprising war artifacts are what we have next. You'd never expect it. Number 6. Hitler's last hideout. The remains of Hitler's last hideout, called the Führerbunker, still lie deep under the busy streets of Berlin. Built from 1936 and made bigger during World War II, this underground shelter became Hitler's final command center as Soviet soldiers moved closer to the city in 1945. On January 16th, Hitler moved into the bunker, turning it into the heart of his shrinking empire during those last hard months of the war in Europe. Inside its thick walls of concrete and steel, Hitler held meetings, gave orders, and watched his empire crumble. On April 29, 1945, he married Eva Braun right there in the bunker. Less than 2 days later, the couple took their own lives, bringing an end to a dark chapter in history. After the war, the Soviets found the bunker, but they kept its secrets to themselves. They tore down the buildings above it, trying to erase the past. Still, the bunker's strong walls made it difficult to destroy. Over time, new buildings covered the site, hiding it away near what would later become the Berlin Wall. In the 1980s, as new construction began, parts of the bunker were uncovered. Historians and researchers carefully explored what was left, finding personal items, papers, and pieces of the hidden rooms. These discoveries helped people learn more about Hitler's final days and the people who stayed by his side. Today, the bunker remains quiet and undisturbed. There's no grand memorial, just a simple plaque marking the spot. Yet, beneath the lively city, this silent space still captures the imagination of those who want to understand the last moments of World War II and the fall of Nazi Germany. It stands as a quiet, powerful reminder of a past the world must never forget. Number 5. The Forgotten German Truck. Local stories had long whispered about an old car lying at the bottom of a nearby river. Nobody thought it had anything to do with World War II, but brave divers kept searching, following tales of a lost German military truck that vanished near the war's end. Over the years, the river's water level dropped during dry seasons, revealing a strange shape hidden just below the surface. Finally, a group of experts found the exact spot and carefully pulled the rusty truck out of the riverbed. To their surprise, much of it was still in one piece, and even the license plate was still attached. They discovered that this truck had been used by German soldiers to carry ammunition and weapons. It seemed the retreating troops chose to sink it in the river, rather than let it fall into enemy hands. This small but important vehicle shows how war isn't just about tanks and planes. It's made up of many different parts. Local officials quickly secured the area to stop anyone from taking pieces. Now, careful work is being done to clean and fix the truck, so one day it can be shown to the public. This sunken truck is like a hidden time capsule, quietly watching history unfold. It reminds us that sometimes the past rises up in surprising ways, just waiting for someone curious enough to uncover its story. Number 4. The Secret Bunkers of Churchill's Hidden Army. In World War II, Winston Churchill created a secret group called the Auxiliary Units, made up of ordinary people trained for special, hidden missions. Instead of fighting like regular soldiers, they learned how to sabotage, spy, and set up surprise attacks to protect Britain if the Germans ever invaded. To stay hidden, over 500 underground bunkers were built all around the country. These secret places, called operational bases, were tucked away in forests and fields. Their entrances were cleverly disguised under fake floors or hidden by plants. Very few people knew they existed, and most of the brave people who worked in them kept their secrets until they passed away. In 1940, when it seemed like a German invasion might happen any day, Churchill made sure to have these bunkers ready. One was even built under a tennis court at the Gerald family's house. Nobody knew it was there for years, until a gardener quietly mentioned it, though he wouldn't say exactly where it was. Luckily, that invasion never came, and after the war, many of these bunkers were forgotten or left to crumble. Even now, workers digging in fields or forests sometimes find these old secret shelters. In 2020, one was discovered in Scotland, reminding everyone of the hidden stories from those dark days. On the top, there are highly esteemed and which won victories and proved its compulsory survival. Stick with us. Number 3. The heartbreaking USS Indianapolis. In July of 1945, the USS Indianapolis finished a secret mission. It carried parts for the atomic bomb that would later be dropped on Hiroshima. After this, the ship left Guam and sailed alone toward the Philippines. But on July 30th, a Japanese submarine attacked, firing torpedoes that struck the ship hard. In just 12 minutes, the Indianapolis sank, taking about 300 sailors down with it. Around 900 sailors were left floating in the open ocean, surrounded by sharks. They fought to stay alive for 4 long, terrible days. Rescue was delayed because of mistakes in communication. Many sailors passed away from thirst, drinking salty water, and shark attacks. When help finally arrived, only 316 men were still alive. This became the deadliest sinking in U.S. Navy history, shocking a country that had hoped for peace as the war neared its end. For many years, no one knew exactly where the ship had sunk. This mystery made the story even sadder. But in 2017, a team led by businessman Paul Allen found the wreck deep in the Philippine Sea. The pictures showed the ship's broken but still familiar shape lying in the dark waters. Finding the USS Indianapolis after so many years was a powerful moment in World War II history. It stands as a quiet, moving reminder of bravery, loss, and sacrifice. Number 2. The Amazing Ghost Army. In World War II, a very special team called the Ghost Army was created. This team wasn't made up of regular soldiers. It was a group of artists, engineers, and sound experts. Their job wasn't to fight with guns, but to trick the enemy using clever ideas. Instead of sending real tanks into battle, they used big inflatable ones that looked real from far away. Instead of real fighting sounds, they played loud recorded battle noises to confuse the German soldiers. This smart group worked very close to the battlefield but stayed hidden. At night, they set up fake tanks, jeeps, and trucks made from canvas and rubber. From the sky, they looked just like real military vehicles. The team also sent out fake radio messages to make the enemy think a huge army was nearby. Sometimes they even dressed up in different military uniforms to pretend they were from other units. After the real soldiers left, the Ghost Army stayed behind to keep up the act. They made the enemy believe that a strong army was still in the area, keeping them distracted and away from real attacks. Thanks to these smart tricks, many lives were saved during the war. For a long time, nobody knew about the Ghost Army because their mission was a secret. Only recently has their story been told. Number 1. The Jerusalem of the North. Vilnius was once called the Jerusalem of the North before World War II. It was a bright and lively city filled with Jewish culture, schools, and places of worship. But when the Nazis invaded Lithuania, many of the city's beautiful synagogues were destroyed or taken over. Precious books and religious treasures disappeared, and it seemed like a big part of this rich culture was lost forever. But brave people refused to let that happen. They carefully hid important treasures beneath the ruins of the great synagogue of Vilnius. They buried Torah scrolls, prayer shawls, ancient books, and special religious objects, hoping that one day someone would find them. Many years later, a group of researchers began digging through the broken walls and crumbled foundations. After much hard work, they discovered a secret underground room. Inside, they found the hidden treasures, untouched for decades. Even though time had made them fragile, these items still shone with beauty and deep meaning. The discovery matched stories passed down by survivors who had spoken of secret places made to protect the spirit of their people. Today, experts are carefully cleaning and repairing the delicate books and fabrics so they can be studied and shared with the world. This powerful find from World War II is a touching reminder of how people held on to their faith and identity even in the darkest times. The search continues, with hope that more lost pieces of this special history will rise again and be remembered. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and also click the next video shown on your screen.